As summer kicks into full swing, it's getting hot in Tuscaloosa, and OV season is here. Stick around. This is Way Off Sides. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. Welcome to your favorite, absolute favorite Alabama football talk show on YouTube, where we talk all things Alabama. It's just done a little differently here. How's everybody doing? I hope that each of you had an amazing, relaxing Memorial Day weekend. I know we did. We took the time off to just kind of relax, reconnect with family, do the whole thing. Obviously, for most, it seems like that holiday is about cookouts and an extra day off work, but really for a few, it's a very somber and it's a period of mourning. So our thoughts are with all of those who have lost somebody, a service member, on a team or in a unit, somebody that was close to them, or even if they weren't. And that's what that day is about. So don't forget that. It's important to us here at Way Off Sides. Before we get too far into the weeds here, please do your part and subscribe. For each subscription, we get closer and closer to letting Way Off Sides Bill out of his prison. For those of you who watch the live show, you know what we're talking about. Bill does not get released until we hit an undisclosed amount of subs. And so that is on you guys. So if you want Bill back, tell everybody. Tell them, hey, come over here, subscribe, do the thing. While you're at it, leave a comment. I want to hear your thoughts on what we're going to talk about today. So do not be afraid to be vocal in the comment section. Hit the like button. And while you're over there subbing, go ahead and hit the notification bell too. Por favor. We got a live show coming up Thursday night, and we are going to talk a lot about recruiting this week because, as you saw in the intro, it is official visit season. Memorial Day is past, which means unofficially summer has kicked off, and summer gets hot in Alabama, and it gets hot in multiple ways. It's humid, it's hot, it's sticky, but also it's hot in Tuscaloosa in the sense that Kalen, DeBoer, Courtney, Morgan, and that staff at Alabama are recruiting their tails off right now and are gearing up for a huge summer full of official visitors. Now, you may be saying, Cotton, I don't follow recruiting. Why are official visits such a big deal? Well, essentially in today's age, they can be and they may not be. But we always tell you, even in recruiting nowadays with NIL, the transfer portal, follow the visits. Follow them, right? That is the most clear indicator of where somebody's going to end up. Follow their visits, who they're interested in, who their first visit is, who their last visit is. And sometimes, not all the time, but that will lead you in the right direction. Now, Alabama, much like a lot of programs around the country, are geared up to have a very, very big summer. Alabama already has a pretty remarkable class with only a few verbal commits, sitting at number 9 in the 2026 cycle. But they are making a push for some big names. They are really in contention for some really, really big names. A lot of 4 stars, a few 5 stars, and a couple of 3 stars. And we're going to go through these thanks to sportsillustrated.com, who has a cumulative list ready to go. So it takes the work off of my shoulders, which is fantastic. So visits are going to be going on all summer until that dead period. We know last season, the summer period was very kind to Alabama. They got a lot of verbal commits, and the majority of those guys ended up actually signing with the Crimson Tide, outside of a few like Ty Haywood, who followed a paycheck to Michigan at the last minute. So to get started, Alabama, beginning on May 30th through June the 1st, that is just a couple of days from when this will upload, are hosting a loaded group of individuals. And a lot of these are going to be defensive targets, defensive line targets. There's a couple guys from the secondary in there, linebackers, which I think is a position of need for Alabama, and one wide receiver who is already beloved by the Alabama fan base. So beginning, here's just some names off the top that we'll start with the defensive side of the ball. 4-star. Some recruiting agencies have him as a 5-star. I have him as a 5-star. Safety, Jet Washington. This will be one of the bigger names on campus that Alabama will be pushing for, as well as 4-star linebacker Sincere Johnson. We all know that guy. Alabama is a finalist. He is right now predicted, I believe, to land at Ohio State. And Boobie Feaster, another guy who will be visiting and has Alabama as a finalist, will be visiting is predicted, it looks like potentially to LSU, but don't let that deter you, my friends, because there is good news coming. Jet Washington is still a little bit up in the air. I believe he is kind of predicted to Oregon, but we'll see what happens there. A big position of need, edge. Alabama will bring in 4-star KJ Ford, as well as on the defensive line, they'll bring in Nolan Wilson, Titan Davis, and JJ Finch, a 3-star, and Tyson Bacon. Mark Bowman was originally scheduled to visit. I don't think he is going to visit anymore. That is the 4-star. Some people have him as a 5-star tight end. It looks like he is going to wind up at Texas. We'll see if he ends up on campus. If Bama is able to still get him on campus, then they're still in play. Outside of that, on the tight end side, they're also bringing in 4-star tight end Xavier Tiller, who I think is a legitimate tight end and a very, very good fit for this Kalen DeBoer, Ryan Grubb system. He named Alabama as a finalist for him about 10 days ago. So that's just the start. That's just the start of it all. That's just some names to start off this massive, massive visitation schedule that Alabama's got coming in over the summer. Now, next up, the next group of guys that are going to come in through the 6th through the 8th of June are going to be headlined by 5-star safety Jere Edwards. As well, you're bringing in Caden Prothero, 4-star athlete, as well as another 4-star edge. And this is one that I'm keeping my eye on, Jacquez Wilkes and Kamari Brooks. He also named Alabama a finalist back in January. That's another 4-star edge. And Alabama will host a series of 3-stars in Corey Barber, wide receiver Brian Williams Jr., 3-star safety Darrell Bell III, and a 3-star edge in Camarion Johnson, who I think is already committed to Alabama. And Johnson is not a 3-star. Before it is done, Johnson will at least be a 4-star, potentially a 5-star. We actually did a whole video on Camarion Johnson. I'll link it in the description after this, but Johnson's the real deal. So in terms of 4-stars, they've got a load of them, a truckload coming in. We talked about Prothero already. 4-star running back Derek Cooper. Alabama is the favorite to land a specific running back who we'll talk about here in a minute, but they're also going to want to probably take one more running back. And then they're going to bring in the Ole Miss commit, 4-star linebacker Isaiah Williams. I don't know if Ben will be able to make any progress there. I think they have their eyes set on other linebackers as well. On top of that, we talked about Kamari Brooks and Jacquez Wilkes, and 4-star defensive lineman Valden Stone. So if that doesn't tickle your fancy, if that doesn't stir your pudding, then on June 13th, we got another star-studded group coming into the University of Alabama. These visits will take place between the 13th and the 15th. This one is headlined by 5-star athlete Brandon Arrington Jr. He is set to commit on July 5th. He will be taking other visits after this, but I think Alabama could potentially make some noise. I think he's going to be the guy that they're really shooting for in this rotation of guys visiting over the summer. As well, you've got 4-star Samorian Wingo. He named Alabama as a finalist back in April. And then 4-star defensive lineman Elijah Golden. On top of that, they're also bringing in another 2 4-stars in Nick Abrams, who I think Alabama stands a very good chance at making a last-minute push for. He put Bama in his final list earlier in May. As well, they will be hosting 4-star athlete Roman Voss, 3-star safety Caden Hall, and 3-star offensive tackle Wilson Zerere. Only one guy looks to be coming in on the 17th. That is Preston Carey. And then on the 19th, you've got one guy I want you to keep an eye on. We've talked about him until we are breathless. That is 5-star wide receiver Sedarian Morgan. He named Alabama a finalist back in February. He's set to commit on July 2nd. And a lot of people, including myself, feel like Alabama's won this one. This one will commit to Bama. We'll see how that plays out as the summer goes along. But just with his relationship with some of the players on staff, what he said about his visits, as well as the way he interacts with certain other recruits who are also heavily predicted and whooped to Alabama, we just feel like 5-star wide receiver Sedarian Morgan will land with the Tide. We'll see if that holds until signing day. But As of right now, we think that when he makes that commitment on right before the 4th of July, that Alabama will be the school. June 20th through June 22nd, another guy that is committed to Alabama, but will be visiting. As you guys know, with NIL, it's more important than ever these days, even once you get that verbal commitment, to keep recruiting these kids. We saw a couple of guys fall off last season because Alabama stopped reaching out, or at least that's the rumor. Maybe those guys were no longer priorities for Alabama. Who knows? But 5-star quarterback Jordan Edmonds will be in Tuscaloosa. Now, Edmonds is going to be one of the highlights of this 2026 class. He is fully committed to Alabama. He committed back in March. Edmonds is legit. He's legit. Not only is he Alabama right now, he's actually recruiting for Alabama pretty heavily too. Now, that other guy I told you, the running back I want you to keep an eye on, we've talked about this, will be 4-star running back Xavier Crowell. Crowell will commit later this month in June. He was going to commit in December, and he moved his commitment date up in June. I think Alabama stands a pretty good chance at landing Xavier Crowell as well. On that 20th to 22nd of June cycle, you're going to get 4-star tight end Max Sutter. Big priority for Alabama, I think. 4-star safety Laziah Jackson, 4-star defensive lineman Emmanuel Ruffin, and 4-star linebacker Anthony Davis Jr. A lot of these guys have been in Tuscaloosa before. They've been there for either junior day or A day. And then to finish out that rotation, you're getting 3-star running back Javari Barnett, who committed to Illinois back in April. Now, that's a lot of names, and there's probably going to be a lot more that we're not naming. We're not talking about who will announce that they're going to make the push to Alabama at some point this summer. I'm sure Bama is working hard to get some of these guys on campus. And what's interesting to me and what I first noticed in this class is Alabama already has, Jordan Edmond committed, right? I think Xavier Crowell will end up as a 5-star before it's all said and done. Sadarian Morgan is going to be a 5-star. And there are a couple of other guys who Bama will likely get commitments from who are now 4-stars who could end the cycle as 5-stars. I think Alabama could seriously end this cycle with 4 or 5, maybe even 6 5-star recruits once it's all said and done. What do you think? What do you think? Who do you want? Who should be the priority for Alabama? What position group do you want to see Alabama go after this summer? Who's somebody who's maybe we didn't talk about on this list, who you know is visiting or you think should be visiting or you want to see visit? I know you want everybody. We all want everybody. That's just not realistic. While you're thinking that out and typing that message, do me a favor. Please like, subscribe, do all the things. Like this video, leave a comment. We'll let Bill out of the well once we hit a certain amount of subs. Again, that is on you. Bill's not being released. He can't come back until you do your part. We love each and every one of you. Again, we hope you had a great holiday weekend. We hope that your day back to work wasn't too intense. I know ours was. Got a live show coming up Thursday night. We hope to see you all there. Thank you for being a part of this with us. We absolutely love and adore each and every one of you. And as always, say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands, horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. Roll Tide.